Tommy's team did the right thing. There's a tweet appeared on Twitter earlier on, or X. An X appeared on X, or whatever they call them now. A tweet on X, saying that the person that runs that account, a friend of Tommy's, has decided to take the film down. And they've done it for Tommy's good. They've done it to basically save him being charged again when he comes out of prison. And that film, you see, that film has served its purpose. It's been viewed 167 million times, I think. That's phenomenal. This is a documentary about a school in Huddersfield, right? But you see, the thing is, that documentary's not just about a school in Huddersfield. It's not about really the individuals that are involved. In fact, I know it's probably in a way, in a strange way, been helpful to all of them, because the story's been told about what happened there. And putting aside what happened in the day when a bottle of water was thrown over somebody, and of course Piers Morgan went off the reservation and started saying that people had been waterboarded and all sorts of nonsense. Putting all that aside, what was shown from the film was the extent of the British government's influence on the media narrative, influence on what happened, and it showed that there is a deep state in the country that can close schools down if things go wrong, and the narrative that goes out from those schools is not what the government wants people to hear. So when JD Vance says there's a problem with freedom of speech in the UK, he's 1,000,000% right. There's a massive problem with freedom of speech in the UK. And what the film did, it highlighted that. Elon Musk retweeted the film. Did he watch it all? We don't know. I can't remember whether he said he watched it all or not. But the reality is, it highlighted massive injustice in the British legal system. Massive perversion of free speech and a silencing of free speech. And of course, that's why it was called Silenced. So the film getting 167 million views, did it do its job? 100% it did its job. And it highlighted things that are very, very wrong in British society. Well, not actually in British society, it's the establishment. The establishment in our country, Labour and Conservative, Lib Dems, the Uni Party, are utterly corrupt. Of course, the civil service is an even bigger problem. The Quangos are an even bigger problem. The civil service and the legal system itself, the judiciary, is anything but impartial, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Am I still allowed to say that? Who knows? And it's all done to protect certain demographics, certain minority groups from any scrutiny. And of course, even on the platform I'm using today, I can't talk openly about certain ideas, let's put it that way. I can't talk openly about them because I'd fall foul of the censorship. And this is something that JD Vance should be looking at. He should be going to the gazillionaires, billionaires, whatever they are, trillionaires, and their corporations that own these platforms and saying, why is there no free speech on your platform? Why do you have these rules that are straight out of the DEI handbook? Why is that happening? And I think that's something that is vital for democracy. It's vital for freedom. And it's vital for people that are even in those people groups or demographics that can't escape them because they're being attacked and intimidated. And if they even speak out, then they're getting deplatformed and cancelled. So not only are they getting attacked by people in their own communities, they're getting deplatformed by the big tech giants that should be protecting them and should be looking out for them. And that brings me on to the case of Lubna. So talking about Tommy, absolutely the right thing to do. Let's hope that the authorities show some mercy and let him out. Just let him out. Why hold him? The film's gone. Let him out. But I want to talk about Lubna. And I don't really know Lubna at all, but I've been on Paul Thorpe's channel with Lubna, I think twice or three times, certainly twice. And I found her very pleasant, very intelligent, very articulate, very moderate, very balanced. She wasn't undermining her community. She wasn't undermining the religion that most of that community practice. She was being very fair and very balanced. Of course, if she had done any of that, undermined the community and been overly critical. The platform that she's on would have probably censored her and banned her anyway. This is the hypocrisy of it all. She has now had death threats. She called the police, and I watched the video. I didn't watch all of it. I watched part of the video, so I've been very busy today. I didn't watch all of it. I watched part of the video. That woman's devastated. She's devastated by what's happened to her. She's devastated by the attacks from her own community. And in a way, it's similar to stuff that's been happening on our side of politics. There's been absolutely vile and disgusting slurs against me, against other people. I'm not going to mention other people. I'm not going to mention who's doing the attacks because I don't do that. But the reality is, what's been happening is absolutely disgusting. It's unfair, it's unjust, and it's wrong. And of course, you can't do anything about it. The normal guy in the street, like me, I can't take a defamation case. Nobody's going to come and bankroll me like certain people got bankrolled to take defamation cases. I can't take a defamation case. So if people slander me, there's very little I can do about it. Which, it's kind of open season, isn't it, on anyone on our side of the fence. We've just got to suck it up and sit there and do nothing about it. But the problem is, it has massive detrimental effects on people's families. It has massively detrimental effects on the movement. Because people are saying all sorts of stuff that's just completely untrue. And again, when I think about Lubna and what she's done and what she's trying to do, she's the sort of person that we want to come together with in unity, so that we can bring the moderates. And what seems to be happening, what I've noticed is, and this is the same with Tommy, if anybody had actually taken the time to listen to what Tommy Robinson says, they would realise that he is extremely moderate. He is not an extremist. He calls things out, and he calls things out in the way only Tommy can call them out. Not mincing his words, not pussyfooting around. He says, this is it. People that are, terrorists or whatever that they're up to, get them out of the country, deport them. Well, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? He called out the grooming gangs. He's called all this stuff out. But he's done it from a place of moderation. And even back in the days when the EDL was on the go, the British police said this isn't an extremist organisation. They said these people have moderate views. It's the same. Now, this wasn't connected with Tom. When the football lads and the veterans, when we were doing stuff together, again, we had mission statements. It was very moderate. We were against racism, anti-Semitism, all the stuff that's normally quite rightly associated with the far-right goose-stepping nutcases. We were against all that, still are. We were civic nationalists. We wanted to bring people together, to enjoy Britain together. And obviously, now we're in a situation where the country's been flooded with people. The country's full. House prices have gone through the roof. There's the lunacy of illegal migrants being put up in 5-star hotels and luxury hotels. All of this stuff is totally destabilising our country. And what's happening is the moderates, like us, like me, like Paul Thorpe, like Tommy, could mention loads of others, Calvin Robinson, Carl Benjamin, Naya Tusi, moderate people, we're the ones that are getting attacked. And we're getting attacked by the far left, the lunatic, Jew-hating far left, and the goose-stepping, Jew-hating far right, and of course the Islamists as well. They're the people that are attacking the moderates. And that's why we have to stand, and that's why we have to fight. And again, the thing that moderates me is, I've said it before, it's the thing that made this country great. It's this book. It's the Bible. If you read the Bible right, and you understand the message of the Bible, you're never going to be an extremist. You're never going to want to go out and do anything crazy, because the New Testament doesn't allow you to do that. Neither does the Old Testament, for that matter, if you read it properly. So it's great that Tommy's getting out. Well, not getting out. It's great that the film's come down and there's a chance of him getting out. We shouldn't, we shouldn't speculate on what's going to happen next, because we don't know, because it's the British legal system. Goodness knows what they'll do next to him, because they just seem to have it in for him. But it's great he's taken the film down, or the film's been taken down for him, and that there's a chance of him possibly getting out. Again, let me reiterate, one of Tommy's team took the film down autonomously, not told to by Tommy. As far as I know, that seems to be what happened. And that increases the chance that he won't be charged again with contempt, which they were seriously talking about, which would be monstrous. If he gets out, gets rearrested straight away, tried, and gets another 2 years, it would be absolutely monstrous. And I think it's absolutely the right thing to take the film now. That's the first thing. Next thing is this issue with Lubna and other ex-Muslims. Well, she's not an ex-Muslim. Other Muslims who are moderate Muslims, because Lubna is the sort of person that, I mean, she was born in the UK. She's moderate, Western, tolerant views. She is the model member of the Muslim community that we've been told that, everybody's like that. And the problem is the extremists in her community have attacked her. I listened to her speaking, she never once mentioned Islam in a negative light that I heard. Not once. So why they've gone gunning for her, I don't know. But I mean, she seemed very upset when I watched that video. So again, it's just what we're putting up with. It's just what we're fighting against. But let's keep doing what we're doing. Let's keep fighting. We've all had a lot of stress and hassle over the last few weeks and months. It's taken its toll for sure, but we fight on. We're not going to give up because there's a country to save. And like I said, when I started this, I did it for my kids and my grandkids. And I hope they thank me for it someday.